Hey Night City fans, it's Mike here at Deconstructing the Game, and in today's video we're going to be compiling some of the shorter discoveries that I've found over the course of playing Cyberpunk, and I'm going to put them together in a compilation video for all you guys to take a look at, basically revolving around unfinished interiors of buildings and unfinished gig areas. So without further ado, we're going to focus on the Marquis or the Marquez Hotel, Eden Plaza, just at the downtown area of Night City. Most of the discoveries are around the downtown area, and I'll put some more if I do discover enough to show you guys. So it's basically an unused reception area. You can't get in here, glass panel doors, and the decoration look kind of similar to Konpeki Plaza or the Arasaka building interior. And I do believe that there is a red crest on that desk, which does indicate an Arasaka affiliation as well. There's another building outside one of the mega buildings just opposite Arasaka Tower, which again has glass doors to look into and a reception area with an Arasaka branded logo. The decoration is very similar to Eden Plaza, but again you can't open these doors and you can't find anything inside. The interior, or the building itself I should say, goes around 360 degrees, and there's doors on the north, east and west sides of the building. We're just on the west side now, and on the other side of the building the glass doors are the same as everything else. You can see elevator shafts inside. The interior looks similar to Konpeki Plaza again, but what's interesting is if you go back to the beta version of Cyberpunk, or what I like to call version 0, is that there's actually police in attendance at a crime scene inside here. So that kind of makes me think that this building was intended for something in the game, whether it be a gig or an assault mission or something, but I haven't discovered this activity or the police activity here in the current version of the game or any version post beta, so that was rather interesting to me as well. It doesn't necessarily mean to say that this building has any function or will have any function, but I did find that particularly interesting as this is only the beta version this appears. You can see I've been here before by the vehicle in front. I've parked here as a marker, and this is a couple of reception slash foyer areas for what I only suspect could be potential suites or flats in the area, because they're very minor, they're very small. You can clip through here in the beta as well, but there's nothing behind there, there's no elevator shafts or anything. But what's interesting is that all these areas share a common theme, is that they can be accessed from the top level as well. You can see where they should have accessed. This, I suspect, is a small Dynalar building, which is a corporate facility which deals in hands and gorilla arms and stuff, to the best of my knowledge. But again, foyer area reception, unused, you can see in there. And what happens when you get here is there's actually sounds of rioters and protesters outside, but as you can see here, there's no NPCs around. Just driving past this trauma team AV pad here. This AV pad holds an AV which can be destroyed at some point, but driving around here, this area almost looks like it should have been set up for some kind of mission or gig. You know, we have areas to hide bodies, we have hackable interactive objects, and we have items we can loot as well. So just the general structure of this area with the AV pad being there as well makes me think that this should have been part of some kind of gig where trauma teams involved, or this may well be kind of a trauma team sub base that you get to access in the future. There's also another area very close by which is usually teeming with enemies, but I cleared this area out not so long ago and they haven't respawned. But this does show up as a hostile area. You can hack surroundings and you can take out the enemies, but there's no gig associated with this level, and there's no mission associated with this area either. So again, this leads me to believe that this is an area that was kind of unfinished or cut for gigs or missions. Moving just further down the street, we have an Arasaka vessel parked up in the docks called Akuma, and again this shows up as being a hostile area. There are enemies here and they will attack you on sight, but there's nothing special about this area apart from the fact that there's enemies around. There's no rare or legendary items around or anything to find, but there are keypads on the doors. I did glitch into the ship and it's just a completely empty body, so again, possibly unfinished, possibly cut or lined up for future content. And if we go further up into the dockyard area, it kind of extends just up here, where this is also labeled as a hostile area with enemies. I'm not sure if the cleaning company for Night City is cut or unfinished, but it is a unique area that I want to showcase here because of the vehicles and some of the interactive objects inside. So maybe a later video will kind of touch on that area. But further down the road from that, we have another Arasaka controlled area, but weirdly enough, the enemies in this area are actually the tiger claws, so that raises an eyebrow. But if you go up onto the catwalk balcony here, there is a door at the other end with a fuse box, which typically means, you know, you can hack the fuse box to enter a building or cause some kind of disturbance. But yeah, there's nothing associated with this area whatsoever. No gigs, no missions, just a weird kind of area to have. And what's even weirder is that there's actually a tire fire on top of this building, completely out of place, because the last time I saw a tire fire was up in Watson, where all the Maelstrom gangs are creating roadblocks and kind of just causing chaos. So why this tire fire is on the roof is a complete mystery to me. It is actually real fire. It will hurt you if you jump in it, and the tires do scatter. So very, very strange. And there's a smaller Arasaka garage kind of area right across the road beside that small garage that featured in our last video. The Centre for Behavioural Health in Night City does feature in numerous areas around the city, and you can access them, and there's also some hidden gems inside these places as well. But what's interesting is that the doors are glowing here on the inside, which maybe suggests that this should have been the main area of operations for the mental well-being facility, and maybe this is where the cyber psychos could go in the future if CD Projekt Red decide to kind of expand on that Regina questline. But that is complete speculation on my part. Those doors could just be glowing because they've just copied and pasted these glass areas basically across the city, and there are others on the inaccessible catwalks as well. So yeah, could be anything, could be nothing. There's also an AV pad here with kind of red flashing lights, warning symbols. It kind of draws the attention, but there's nothing up here apart from a few guys just behind me who are kind of sitting around smoking and enjoying life. And just around the corner from that, we've got a hidden gem as well with somebody hidden in a vent and some police officers dead on the ground. So yeah, this could be an area for a hidden gem, but it also could be an area for like an AV to land in the future, but I have no idea. Something that raised an eyebrow to me are the keypads on the walls here. The keypads are copied and pasted across the city, but as you can see here, these guys are trying to break in here and the keypad has a call button. So this kind of suggested to me that these minor encounters for the crime should have involved people coming out and thanking us and giving us a reward of some kind, like in The Witcher 3. This is just a showcase of the concept art as to what we got for the Crunch Plaza. It looks very, very different, and I don't want to say too much about Crunch Plaza because we've touched on that a lot in past videos, but I did find a building which I think should have been available for us to use, whether it be in gigs or missions or possibly even to purchase as a club for ourselves, because at the very back of the Blue Moon Club, which is boarded up and derelict, we can open the door and it goes to absolutely nothing. It's an empty building, you can access the void. You can jump down here if you want to and swim around and find some places, but just be careful because you will get stuck if you're not careful. An unused trauma team feature here. There's no AV, there's nobody kind of walking around or trying to help anyone who's medically injured, so that was just a kind of weird thing to see. And there's also a very small hidden glass garden slash eatery here which can be accessed through the keypad, which there's nothing going on. We all know that the vendors in the current version don't work, so this would be kind of an unused area until they get that fixed. Just behind here is an Arasaka controlled area that is not part of a gig or mission, but I did hack the garage using my intelligence skill, and surprise surprise, there was nothing inside of any use. Speaking of garages, there's also a garage that I thought may contain a large area for holding cars, but it turns out it's just empty. I did climb on the roof to find another interesting area which contains air vents and stuff. There is loot dotted about this area, and there is a weird graphical anomaly. It's not an anomaly, it's more of a feature actually. The door of this AC unit seems to be sparking, some kind of electrical fault with the cable going inside. So it's quite a unique thing to see, and this area looks like it's set up for us to find, but there's nothing unique in this area. There's no legendary items, but this sparking outlet here did kind of raise an eyebrow. So I did ask Ryan to clip into these areas, and he was very kind to do that, but kind of disappointed me a little bit because this time I was wrong. There's nothing inside these areas but empty space. One area that I'm certain is unfinished is V's mega building apartment area, as this should have had a lower tier foyer area, that should have been accessible to us, but actually if we try and get down there normally, we just die. So I've mastered a car glitch that I've been using on the Xbox console to drop into places, and if you're on a motorcycle, you can drop into this place and control your descent up to the point you're at the elevator, and then jump off and grab onto some of the support beams. If you try and exit this area here, you will surely die, but what you can do is scan the area, look around and see that there's interactive objects and also loot boxes around the area. So I'm kind of suspecting this place should have been available to use and be like a lower tier area of the building. Whether CD Projekt Red will bring this back, I have no idea, but I decided to showcase it anyway in this video just to show you guys that there is more to this game than meets the eye. If you like the content here guys, you can check out more on YouTube, check me out on Twitch and join the Discord server to get involved in any more conversations about Cyberpunk. And as always, I'll catch you later.